Yes. I'm not even nervous about you guys. I'm nervous about everyone on Zoom. Like, and it's recorded, so I have to be careful what I say. My mom could be watching.
Your mom could be watching this.
Like, super careful.
This is you, right?
Yeah.
I hated teaching us. I had to as a teacher.
Where's this
I hated
presented?
doing Zoom because I knew all the parents were probably like listening to just like added.
Yeah.
Do you tell where the present is?
So you'll probably have to zoom out because it's in like a flyer format. It's not in like.
Yeah, almost as you know, basically.
It's not like it's not
It's just a flyer.
Oh, there's no slides?
It's just one, because I know, yeah, most people aren't gonna remember everything, so I'm gonna try to keep it super
There's a
simple.
zoom in and out, the plus and minus, it's just use those to.
Let me know when Zoom's on though.
Oh, Zoom's on.
Oh, it is, or
Oh,
what?
yeah. I think they're on. Should be on. I don't know where they are now. There's Zoom.
Can you see who's on it right now?
I did his.
Make sure.
Okay. I don't know why I'm driving. I have no idea. I'm getting out. I know. Where's that? There it is.
Where do-
Introductions?
Is this where I need to stand right here?
There you can move.
Okay, so.
Before you start, Joe, let's take a moment to wish everybody on October 7th a happy birthday.
Yeah, there's like
Yeah.
my wife, my Brady, you, my Phil. Yeah, everybody.
Jake,
All the good ones.
happy birthday, dude.
Yeah.
We're singing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jake. Happy birthday to you. And everybody else.
Yeah, all the other 20 people.
On that note, where's your wife?
She's getting a massage. It's like not happy I'm here, but I'm like, I have to do it. Already committed. Yeah, she's not watching. She's in the massage right now. Yeah, she's with me.
Are you doing introductions, Paul?
I was, but now this, I don't know where this. We were just on.
Okay, cool. So just let me know if I step out of screen or something like that, because I move around. I'm gonna say like 100 times.
Stay that way.
So I'm gonna move a lot. So let me see where my boundaries
Stay that other side. Other
Hold
side.
on.
I think
are. I know, I'm gonna put a chair here so I know.
Okay.
So, because I'm definitely gonna move around.
It's pretty bad at 22, you have to learn the chair.
Well, when I met Bryn, she thought there's something wrong with me. When we were talking, I like circled her and she's like, "Why do you pace?" I'm like, "This is what I do." I was like circling her like a shark.
She's like, you're a shark.
Yeah.
Freaking me out.
You did that on the altar too.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I appreciate you guys all being here, everyone on Zoom. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't ever do this. This is the only class I've ever done. It's the only class I'm going to do this whole year. I might do one next year. And the reason for that is there's a principle for that. And it's saying no to everything. I think it's super important if you really want to do, if you're super, super serious about what you want to do, you have to say no to everything. Meetings, classes. I know Keller Williams is crazy about classes, so don't get mad at me for saying that. But yeah, you got to be really, really focused, block your time, and you have to commit to it. And you have to you really have to not care what anyone thinks and just do it because you're sticking to your goals. So my name is Joe Bennett, real estate agent, leader of the Bennett Group. I started last year in the first quarter. So this is my second year. I literally just started. So a lot of you guys probably have more experience than I do. But I appreciate you guys being here. I hope you guys get something from it. I kept everything super, super simple because realistically, there's so many classes. You're not gonna remember a lot of what I say, but hopefully you can take like one or two things from who I am, what I do, some principles I live by, because I think it's super important and because I'm literally doing it. And I literally lead generated this morning. So super, super important. So raise your hand if this is your first year or second year, one of those. Okay. Some of you guys are new. So let me ask you this. I'm going to be super honest because I don't think a lot of people talk about this. If I genuinely want you to be successful, you have to know what to expect, because I started when COVID hit and I almost died. There's only I think 2 or 3 people from my whole class that made it. It's me, Silvio, and Jared, and that's it. From our whole big Ignite class, everyone else didn't make it. And that's a real statistic. No one, it's rare. So let me ask you, why do so many agents fail? It's probably the number one reason. Well, what causes that?
Yeah. No,
Sorry.
saying no to them, bad daily habits. We're not building good ones.
Yeah. They don't want to work,
Not consistent.
time block, not consistent. Yeah, lack of discipline. Yeah, like, so I wrote down as one thing is wrong expectations. I think a lot of people get into this business and you think that you're gonna be able to control your schedule and you're gonna be able to like go to the beach and stuff. It's crazy. I work way more than I ever have in my life. And I'm like, man, that's so not even true. It's my wife's birthday and I'm literally here right now. It's crazy. I literally worked this morning. So it's like just having the right expectations that if you want to do this and do it at a high level, you can easily make $30,000 doing this. But if you want to do it at a high level, you're going to have to commit your life to it. And everyone that's in here that's super successful, a lot of you guys definitely know that. Lack of ability to get business, that's the number one reason. Whoever has the leads, if you don't have leads, you're either not going to make it or you're going to join a team. That's why teams are so powerful, because they have leads. And you have your number one job is to get business, buyers and sellers. That's it. There's nothing else. So let me ask you guys, where does business come from? What are leads?
People.
People, yeah. Yeah. Where do you meet people? How do you lead generate? Like,
Open
where you
houses.
guys? Okay, open houses.
Cold calls.
Cold calling.
Now it's door knocking.
Door knocking.
Networking events.
Network. Yeah, sphere. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. Calling people. Yep. Yep. Those are all great. And that's the biggest thing is like lead generation is going to be your life. That's your job. That's it. I didn't realize this was a sales job. I don't know if like all you guys that are new, you probably realize it now. It's such a shock to me that this is sales. You have to find people. They're not going to find you. We're a commodity. There's 10,000 agents in this county. So when you get licensed, no one cares. And it's crazy, but they just don't, because they can work with anyone else. And you're probably like one of the last people they work with. They probably only work with you because they feel bad for you. And that was hard. It's hard for me because I'm like, I have other agents in my sphere. So no one works with me. No, actually, I haven't gotten a single deal from anyone I really know. I think one person was a buyer that I worked with through someone else. And that's it. Everyone didn't even know me. I haven't even worked with anyone I know yet. So it's crazy. Your financial runway. So last year when I started in real estate, I had a little money saved up. So if you want to do this, you either have to make money really fast. My first 3 months didn't make any money. Then the next 3 months, I made money to just pay for the last 3 months. So that's a hard pill to swallow because you're literally not making any progress. You have to commit to the long-term game. So last year, I probably made like close to 100 grand and I broke even. You know how depressing that is? I worked so hard and didn't make any money. I just kind of broke even, paid for the times I wasn't making money. So I was like, just hard. And that's really what you're going to go through. You're going to go through roller coaster rides and all this kind of stuff. So for those of you guys that are in your first year, have any of you guys closed any deals yet?
Tomorrow.
You have a closing? How many, who's closed a deal? Raise your hand if it's your first year. Okay. Where'd you guys get them from?
So prospecting.
Okay. Is it a buyer or seller?
One buyer, one seller.
Okay, nice. Anyone else?
Family friend.
Family friend. Okay, nice. Open houses, family friend. Nice. Okay, good job. I didn't get a deal until I think 3 months, and it was just hard. Like, I think one thing that will comfort you is, man, like, I'm doing well now, but there were times when last year I was like in the fetal position on my couch, freaking out. Because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Like I had business, I was making no money. And I was like, man, no one told me how hard real estate was. And I was just like freaking out. And so fear and all these different emotions you're going to have are going to be super common. You just got to get past that. After you get past your first year, it all gets so much easier. So let me ask you guys this. Ownership is super, super important. A lot of people talk about it. A lot of people don't know why it's so important. Tell me, what is ownership?
Being responsible for everything within your business.
Yep.
You're the IT person, the marketing person, just the salesperson.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, you do everything. Anyone else? Any other?
Accountability for yourself, your disciplines.
Mhm. Yeah, accountability. So really, what are you gonna say?
I was just saying, you're like a business owner.
Yeah.
CEO of your own.
Yeah, exactly. So taking ownership, it's not just a good principle for real estate, it's for your life. So I'll tell you this. So it's taking responsibility. Let me ask you this, for those of you in your first year, be honest, because you can be honest. I'll be totally honest with you. If you failed, who or what would you blame? Just throw out an example. I'm not saying you're going to fail, but just be honest. What would you blame? The market or
Myself.
yourself? Oh, that's sad. But you're taking ownership yourself. But what else could you blame?
COVID.
You can blame COVID.
Your family.
Yeah, you could blame them for not giving you deals.
Right.
The market.
Yeah, you could blame the market.
Government.
You could blame the government.
Sure.
You could blame the government.
Zillow.
Yeah.
Change of management.
Yeah, you could blame your office, your brokerage, whatever.
Paul.
You could blame
Yeah.
Paul. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, it's all your fault.
Yeah, you can blame Paul. So really taking ownership, it's crazy. This is real estate has taught me so many principles and made me a better person. Taking ownership in your life is so powerful because if you're not in control and taking ownership of your success and your failure, you're not in control. You can't do anything. So let me ask you this, why do you need to why do you need to take ownership over your life?
Do you have control over it?
Yeah, do you have control over it?
Most likely that you actually do the things you tell yourself to if you don't make excuses and
Mhm.
other things.
Yeah, so you do,
Because no one else will.
yeah,
It's your life. Why would you not?
yeah. You know, what's crazy is no one cares if you fail. If I failed or whatever, no one would care. It only hurt me. I mean, it hurt my family, but no one would care. So if you fail, no one cares. And I think you really have to, that's a hard pill to swallow, but honestly, there's so many people trying to make it and you're just one of many. And you have to take full ownership over your success and your failure. Because if you fail, it's your fault. If I fail, it's my fault. Anything that happens in my life, I'm taking ownership over it because then I can control it. So I'll tell you a story. I've had to take ownership really fast in real estate. I changed brokers like four times my first year, which is insane. I was really close to failing so many times. Like, I'm so lucky to be here. It's insane. So thankful. So last year, I was, or 2019, end of 2019, I was going to get into real estate. And I had a friend who was going to teach me how to do real estate. I was super excited. I didn't know anything. And I was like, hey, I'm going to leave my job and I'm going to lose money every month until I make money in real estate. You're going to teach me everything, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to teach you everything. So I'm like, okay, cool. And as it got closer, I was like, all right, I'm going to take my class. I'm going to do this. I'm going to lose money every single month. So I got to make money fast. And you said you're going to teach me everything. He's like, I got you. I'm going to give you everything in a 50-50 split. You're going to do my open houses, whatever. I didn't realize what he was grooming me for. So hopefully he's not watching this. I don't think so. I'm not going to mention his name, but some people might know. But so I join, I get licensed, pass my test in the first try, which was so freaking hard. And then I got into real estate and I was like, now what do I do? And he's like, take all these classes, online classes. I was like, okay, he's taking all these classes. He's like, read this book. And I was like, okay. So like three weeks went by and I was like, all right, like, when do I work with people? And he's like, just keep taking these classes, whatever. Somehow through Facebook Marketplace, some guy bought something from me, mentioned he was selling his house. I was like, oh my gosh, I got a listing appointment and I was going to go to it. And I was like, all right, what do I do? He's like, just show up. I was like, just show up. He's like, show up. I was like, well, don't I say something or bring something? He's like, no, just show up. And you're going to laugh when I tell you who I was going against. And I don't think she even realized it. Someone from his office. And I wasn't even with this office at the time. So show up, it was embarrassing, got destroyed, didn't get the listing. I found out Denise Antonowitz got the listing. And I was like, I didn't know who she was at the time. So I had no chance. I got destroyed. So then I went out to dinner with a friend from Keller Williams, Norm Elliott. I went out to dinner with him last night. I told him about this. He's one of the top business owners, one of the smartest guys I know. They're going to do like 400 deals this year. I went out to dinner with them 3 weeks in. He's like, how's it going? I'm like, I'm just taking classes. And he's like, what? I was like, what do you mean? I'm taking classes. Like, I'm doing real estate. He's like, are you lead generating? I'm like, what is that? He's like, oh. And I was like, what's wrong? And he gave me this look. And I knew, I was like, you know what? I'm 100% going to fail. Like, I'm not getting any business from this guy. He's not teaching me anything. And so I had to make a decision. He's my friend. I was like, I have to make a decision right now. Either I'm going to fail 100%, I just knew it, or I'm going to take ownership and I'm going to do something about it. Because I knew this, and this is something I wrote at the top. It's like my favorite quote. I tell any of you guys this. At the end of the day, your success or your failure is 100% your responsibility. And I knew this. I could fail and blame him the rest of my life and be like, you know what? He didn't give me business. That's why I didn't make it, whatever. It'd make me feel better inside, but I would fail. And I hated my job so much. I was like, I don't care about my ego. I don't care about blaming people. I just want to make money and be successful. So I was like, you know, Called him, told him I quit. He was yelling at me, whatever. Came to Keller Williams, St. Pete. And yeah, the rest is history. So Norm Elliott saved my life. I was going to be a buyer's agent. I'd probably, like, there's nothing wrong with being a buyer's agent, but I had no idea how powerful that was to take ownership and own, like, just be like, you know, if I want to be successful, I have to make this hard decision. We're not friends anymore. Me and that guy, totally fine, because he didn't have my best interest in mind. And that's another thing, is you have to make decisions that make the most sense for you, because at the end of the day, not many people besides your mom really care what's best for you. They just don't. They just don't. People, like, we're naturally selfish, and we're gonna do what benefits us the most. So who you take advice from is so important, because advice is the cheapest commodity in the world. Everyone, if you ask anyone how to get in shape, they'll give you an answer. If you ask anyone how to be successful, they'll have an answer for that, even if they're not, you know? So you have to make sure that the people you're asking advice from, you're getting advice from, love you and care about you, and they have street cred. Otherwise, don't take advice from them. Just don't. And don't feel bad about that either. Okay, so what does modeling mean to you guys?
Presentation.
Being prepared.
Business model?
Following models, yeah, that kind of modeling, like MREA.
Following successful people.
Yeah.
Procedure,
Mhm.
duplicating systems and implementing them.
Yeah, exactly.
You got a picture of a girl in a dress.
Yeah, I want to show you guys off and do something. Wait, how many people are on Zoom? Are they asked really quick? Are they asking any questions?
I
Okay,
don't
cool.
see any questions.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So, so modeling is so important because it's so simple. Success, I learned, is so simple. Like, all you guys that are doing big business know this. Like, you literally just copy what other people did. That's it. That's it. If you do anything creative and you don't do exactly what they did, you're not going to get the same results. You're not going to make it. So, and I'll just tell you, and I should have mentioned this. So I'll tell you about where I'm at this year. So this is my second year. I'm going to finish my year. I just got a bunch under contract. So this year I'm going to do probably 40, maybe more deals, probably around like 12 million for year 2.
Wow.
So that's why, like, and I'm not bragging at all, because like I just told you, I barely survived. So I'm super grateful for where I am. But I'm telling you, everything I'm saying matters, and everything I learned from other people that are way more successful than me. So like definitely everything I'm saying, if you apply just a little bit of this stuff, and everyone says all this stuff all the time, this is nothing you haven't heard. If you apply it, it's going to change everything for me, because this is like my life. Yeah, so it's doing exactly what someone else did to be successful. So if you're new, raise your hand if you're new. Again, there are a couple of you guys. Okay. So how many of you guys have a coach? Raise your hand. All right. So, okay. So tell me why having a coach is important.
Accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Something there, done there.
Yeah.
Someone can
Experience.
critique your style or performance.
Yeah.
Especially the systems that you're using.
Mm-hmm.
Guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to guide you.
Unbiased opinion.
Yeah. They're going to be honest with you.
And also just hold you accountable, but it's just, so my coach is like, no bullshit.
Mhm.
Like, just, well, you said you were gonna only generate this much, why didn't you?
Yeah.
What else is happening, you know, just
Mhm.
does it in a more like assertive way, which sometimes I need.
Yeah, because no one else, everyone's so focused on themselves that you need a coach, that you have to pay someone to do. So my advice would be 2 things: hire a coach. That's the first hire you should ever make, and get a transaction coordinator. And I'm so glad I had a coach to tell me what to do. But I would 100%, this might be bad advice, but this is what I did. Even if you can't afford it, hire a coach. Because if you want to do this at a high level, you have to know what to do. And if you wait too long, you might not make money, you might get set in your ways. You from the beginning have to hire a coach. So shout out to like Michael Reedy and everyone else I worked with that's helped me get where I am. 100% wouldn't have made it without them. So hire a coach, hire a TC. I've never done a deal by myself. I've never run my own paperwork. It's insane. I don't even know how to do it. And this is why, because I wanted to master what mattered. And I don't care about paperwork. That's not what I get paid for. That's not what you guys get paid for. No one cares if you're really good at DocuSign or Command or anything like that. It doesn't matter. You have to get business. You have to know how to negotiate, how to market. That's it. If you asked me to run my own deal, I literally wouldn't know what to do. But I'm like, I had to create that environment and leverage myself. And everyone thought it was so dumb. But that's how I got going so fast, because all I did was master what mattered and master all the other stuff. So I literally, my transaction coordinators are my wife. I literally wouldn't know what to do without them. It's insane. I literally like would be so helpless. So hire a coach, ASAP coach and a TC. I don't care how much it costs. You have to do it. If you have to do it, I'm telling you. So let's talk about who has the time really. Here, let me check. Oh, wow, we're going so much faster. I thought this was gonna take so much time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna answer some questions at the end. Right at 12 o'clock, I have an alarm. I have to ride out. Gotta go see my wife. She's already a little mad at me. I gotta make up for it. So we're gonna go jet skiing and all this stuff after. So, I'm gonna slow down a little bit because we have so much time. So let me ask you guys that are new, what are some things you learned since you got into real estate? Like, is it what you expected?
Not at all.
No,
What did you expect?
A lot.
Chilling with friends and making sales.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Mhm.
Don't realize that. You think, oh, you're gonna get a license, and get 10 deals and run away.
Yeah. You think,
Put the time.
did anyone think when you got licensed, people were gonna come to you?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's like just hand out your business cards.
yeah, you think it'd be really easy and friends and family.
HGTV.
Yeah,
Show 3 houses and they buy one.
yeah, and you're gonna be chilling on a beach, and any agents you know, they're probably really successful, driving a Mercedes, making a lot of money, making it look easy. So we think we can do the same thing. And really, a lot of new agents make it, so you 100% can make it, but you have to fight and claw to do it, and you have to do whatever it takes, 100%. But yeah, you can definitely do it. So, so for those of you guys that are new, raise your hand really quick. So how long have you been in the business? And if you don't mind me asking, like, how many deals have you closed? I just want to know like where you guys are at really quick.
1 year, 2 transactions.
Okay, 2 transactions.
I've been here since February. I just finished my 3 closings and I have 2 closings. 3 closings this month.
Nice, okay.
so I started in May
Mhm.
and I have a verbal agreement on one listing, which they're very dear friends, so I
Yeah.
would imagine that'll come to fruition probably like in the next month.
Okay.
So there's a few things. I really thought that I would have at least closed on something, already.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I didn't close anything. I took a listing within 3 months, but I didn't make any money for at least like 5 or 6 months. It was crazy. People thought I was falling out. I was like, I'm not making any money. I'm not making any money, just for clear. Who else?
I started first week of August and I'll have my first closing tomorrow. She was my tenant, friends.
Okay, you started like 2 months ago? Okay, nice.
6 months, no closings, mortgage and commercial.
Yeah, oh, nice. Are you doing commercial only?
Mhm.
Okay, nice. Who else?
1 year and 1 closing.
Okay, nice.
10 months. I'm closing.
Okay.
2 months, no closing.
Yeah, nice. Who else? Are you, I don't remember if did you?
I don't have any, I.
That's cool, that's cool.
I've had my license.
And this is honestly like all that is really, really normal. I didn't really close many deals my first year. One thing to a big principle I want to talk about, I'm going off script, is the law of the harvest. Have any of you guys heard of that? You've heard of that?
The deals come, start way earlier than even you're closing on.
Yeah. One thing, one thing to do, if for those of you guys that are lead generating already in it, you might already know this, but you're probably not like when you start working, you're probably not going to see any results for at least 90 days. That's a hard pill to swallow if you just stick with it. Like I worked super hard the first couple months and didn't get any listings for like 60 days. It's like a miracle. I kept going. I just trusted my coach who told me to do that. I did it and it worked out. So it's very normal to not get the results right away and it's hard. So that's why a big principle is delayed gratification. You can say no to yourself. One of the biggest things, it's crazy how real estate just teaches you so much about life. And saying no to yourself and really mastering yourself is so important because you are the key to your success. Nothing else matters. Like you are the key to your success. You're really going to make it happen or you're not. So I'm going to talk about like personal development later, but that is so important. Like even doing this class for you guys, I was super nervous, but I'm like, I need to do it because I got to push myself outside of my comfort zone because there are a lot of scary things I'm going to do. Like last week, I just took my first $1 million listing. It was super scary, but I did it. And I'm like, I want to take more, so I have to get used to that. I got to get over that. So like hard things and scary things are going to grow you personally, and it's good. It's uncomfortable. Growth is really uncomfortable, but they're just growing pains. And all you guys that are new, it's cool. Like you're going to go through some really hard stuff, and every setback, how does it go? Every setback is gosh, I forget the quote. One of my coaches said it. Whatever, but anyways, everything that is a challenge or hard for you grows you. More important than anything else that I'm going to say is, get this, that personal development is 100% the key to your success. So
I have something to say. That being said, like Joe, I had the pleasure of sitting next to Joe for a couple of weeks at the desk next to me, and he taught me, like he lives by his system, like 20 phone calls a day, text out each phone call, like whenever you do that. But you forced me to in that growth, because I had a closing where the commission was 2%. And I was doing a lot of work. It was a discount. I was dealing with the seller. My client was the buyer, and like I was doing a lot of work, and Joe was like, you need to ask to increase your commission to 2.5. I'm like, no. He's like, you need to ask. He's like, what's the worst that can happen? It's like, use this as an example, because once you're gonna have that $1 million contract, that you need to know how to do this and represent yourself and ask for the commission you want. So use this as a learning experience. So I'm like, okay, fine. So you left, and then of course I chickened out, and then Joe called me. He's like, what happened? I'm like, I didn't do it. He's like, call. And so I called.
yeah, I didn't care.
Yeah, I called and I said, listen, I wouldn't be a good agent if I didn't ask this, but I think with all this work that I'm going through, because we had to do the roof and the AC, and I think I would like to increase my commission to 2.5. He's like, I'll ask my wife. And then it kind of was gonna go through, but then it didn't go through. But like having that experience and realizing that like I'm representing myself, it didn't hurt to ask. It almost happened, but like it was just, it put me uncomfortable, and because of that, I feel better because I put myself in that situation. I learned my value.
Yeah.
It was a really good experience, and Joe like called me back 5 minutes later. He's like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "What happened? It actually worked! Oh my god!" So, but I thank you for that.
Yeah.
You actually practice what you preach. You did that for me.
Yeah, that's a good example. So everything that's hard that you're going through, every scary conversation, like one big thing you have to do, and I didn't write this down. There's so many things I didn't write down, but failure in school, we're taught failure is bad. In real life, failure is good. You're not going to succeed without failing a ton. And from day one, I was like, I'm going to fail really, really fast. I'm going to beat whatever learning curve I have to beat. I'm not going to ask for permission to be successful. I'm going to go make it happen. And so failing really fast is super uncomfortable. Like walking into an $800,000 listing, not knowing what to say or what to do, and just like being so embarrassed, or door knocking and people slamming their door on your face. That's so hard. Rejection is really hard. That's why sales is so hard. And a lot of us get into real estate with no sales experience. And that's a big reason why the failure rate is so high, because we don't know how to sell. We're not used to getting doors slammed on our face or getting yelled at on the phone. It's like, that's a personal thing that affects you. I mean, no one likes rejection. So one big thing is like, fail. It's totally okay to fail. Like you with the commission, I was like, if they say no and you fail, who cares? You did it though, because you have to get comfortable doing things that are scary. Like, and you have to think about it like this. Everything you're doing is leading up to you walking into like $1 million listings. If you can't walk into a $300,000 listing and ask for the business, or if you can't like fight for your client to get a house and get your buyer under contract or do all these things, they all lead up to where you're going to be. And it's funny because like literally Friday, I took $1 million listing and I'm like, man, everything I was doing literally led up to that. But if I didn't go through all the hard things I did, I wouldn't be here. If I was too afraid to go on a $300,000 listing point, I'd never be at the $1 million one. So everything you're going through, think of it as growth. That's a positive thing to think about. Like you want to grow and personally develop yourselves. Because here's one of the biggest things you have to take away from this is how, so for those of you guys that are new, or whoever, this doesn't matter if you're new, how much money do you want to make? What's like a good number?
100,000. Everybody says
100,000? Yeah. You probably make way more than
I like to be around 250, 300.
250, 300, okay.
20,000 on that.
20,000 months to 240
Tax.
after tax. Nice, net 240. Who else? You throw it out there.
60, I'm coming from teaching.
60. No, that's okay.
I would be
60s. Yeah, 60s more than I ever made in a salary. It's crazy. Yeah.
Right, 60 to 100, I mean, just start with, if we make more, great, but you know, just to something, right?
Yeah. And is that more money than you've ever made before? Okay, it's more money than you've ever made before. So one goal, a lot of people do this, is they set a goal to make a certain amount of money. And no one sets a goal to become the person that you're gonna have to be to make that money. So me last year, terrified, didn't know what to say, didn't know what to do. I did wake up early. I was waking up at like 4 a.m. But like I made it a goal to be like, I'm gonna become the person that can do these things. Because Joe last year, oh my gosh, I have some expired listings from when I first started. I'm like, man, if they saw me now, they'd be like, who are you? You actually know what you're doing now. It's insane. I'm like, if I took some of my expires from last year, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could actually sell it because I actually know what I'm doing. I'm so different. So you really have to become the person that can do the things you're going to do. This is going to be crazy. And I'm going to say this as humbly as possible because it's really, I'm just super grateful. Like I shared that story with you where I barely made it. I was almost like someone else's buyer's agent. I was definitely going to fail. So I'm super grateful to be where I am now. So this year I'm literally going to make 275. And it's so crazy to me. But here's the thing is I was like, I have to become the person that's going to make that. You can't just make that. You can't just be like, I'm going to make 275. You have to become the person that's disciplined and does the things that people that make 275 do. You have to wake up when they wake up and do the things they do. You have to model them. You have to dress like them. You have to talk like them. You have to protect your time like that. Like say no to everything. A lot of you guys are probably going to say no to everything now after this. That's a big principle. Say no to everything. Like don't text people right back right away. Don't talk to anyone in the morning. When you're lead generating or at night, don't talk to anyone. Focus on what you're doing. And don't apologize for it. Because if you're going to be successful, like people are learning now not to talk to me in the mornings, but it took a while. But I don't care about anyone's feelings when it comes to my goals. You can either like really stay committed to who you have to be. If you want to make 250 or 100 or 60 or whatever, what does that person do? What do they say? What do they look like? How do they carry themselves? Because me last year, no way I could have made that money. No way. I had to grow and develop and fail. You have to fail, not ultimately, but you need to fail. Like you need to do things that put you way outside your comfort zone. Like 2 weeks ago, I went rock climbing. I was super freaked out because I'm afraid of heights. And I was like, oh man, I'm like, now that I'm getting a little older, now I get like motion sickness. I never got that before. And I'm a little afraid of heights. So I was like, I really don't want to do this, but I want to bail and be a pansy. So went rock climbing. I was freaking out. I was like, everything I've learned about mindset is I can do this. If I can rock climb, I can take $1 million listing. I was terrified. It ended up being like one of those, it was that rock climb in St. Pete and it's not the tall one. You're like not even on a rope. It's like 6 feet high. I was like, oh, this is nothing. So I was so terrified. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. But you have to do things that scare you because developing personally is so important. So it's funny, like a lot of things I'm going to tell you aren't real estate, but everything, like people don't have business problems. They have personal problems that leak into your business. So if you literally don't do anything real estate related and you just work on yourself, you have some grit, you'll beat everyone else. All you need is grit, the ability to fail and being okay with it and to keep going. You'll be so successful. You'll pass me so fast. But thing is, my goal is I'm always going to be like, so next year I'm going to make 500 grand. It's not an if, like I know I will. And I got to tell you this. So, and I say that really humbly, because like I said, I almost failed. And I'm so like Norm, I don't know if he was listening, but I told him yesterday at dinner, I was like, I literally would have failed if it wasn't for you. And I'm forever grateful for that. So how many of you guys have business bank accounts? Have you already opened them? So you guys have them already. Did they ask you how much money you made?
Yes.
Okay, what did you say? What, for example, like what did you say?
They asked me how much money I made, how much of a deposit I was planning on making every month.
Okay. Anyone else? They ask you what your salary is. You normally have to put something, you can put whatever because you haven't made money yet. So for me last year, my banker asked me that. They're like, all right, we got to put something for salary, whatever. how much money you make. And this is why your subconscious thoughts, and I'm going way off track because this is so important out of time now. Your subconscious thoughts, what you believe about yourself is so important. It dominates who you are. You can't fake who you are. Like you can fake some things, but your subconscious mind, if you're afraid, it's going to show it. Your body language, it's going to show it. So I know how powerful my subconscious mind is. So they asked me how much money I was going to make, and I wanted to make 100 grand my first year. I got my license a week before. I didn't know anything, but I told her, I was like, I make $100,000 a year. And she like laughed. I was like, it doesn't matter to you. It mattered to me because I told myself I'm going to make 100 grand, and then I did. And so when I say it's really important how you speak to yourself, and you say when and not if. Like I said, I'm taking this $1 million listing and I'm going to sell it. I didn't say if. I'm like, I'm going to sell it. And I had this $800,000 listing recently. So hard, so difficult. I almost fired my seller because he's like so awful to me. And I always said like it wasn't going well. It almost expired. And I kept telling my wife, and I kept correcting myself. I kept saying, all right, when this or if this sells, I'll do this. I was like, no, Joe, like, like when this sells, like you have to tell yourself that because it's different. So you need to tell yourselves like when you're successful, not if you're going to be successful. You have to have the right mindset of when. Even if you don't believe it, just say when. Like, I'm going to do this. It's not an if. So like me making 500K next year, I know I'm going to do it because I've already become the person that's going to do it. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do it. So for you guys, it's crazy. You can literally do everything I'm doing because there's nothing special about me. So think of it like you need to become the person that's going to do those things and say when, not if. Don't say if anymore. Like make a statement about what you're going to do. So what are some goals you guys have? What are your goals for this year? For those of you guys that are new or whoever, it doesn't matter.
12 transactions.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great goal.
3 transactions by the end of the year.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
One transaction a month, right? She said.
Yeah. No, that's good money. Yeah.
Right now, I'm kind of focusing on the 10 contacts a day, or 5 contacts a day, maybe. But
Nice.
some sort of contacts a day, new contacts.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So an activity goal. Okay. And okay. And I wanted to touch on that really quick. So one thing that's really, really important is, and I'm glad I hate that this is recorded because I don't want people to watch this, but I'm like, it will be good so you can look back and see what I said. So
You can rewatch it too and learn.
I'm never gonna watch this. I did like anytime I'm like talked about or I'm on video, I will never rewatch it because I know I say like 100 times. I know I walk around a lot. I'm like, I just can't see myself like that. It's so embarrassing. So one really important thing, like you said, is your activity, like your goal. So forget the 100 grand, forget whatever you're trying to make your goal the activity that's going to make you that money. So and that's something that's really important. So my goal every day is to set a listing appointment. It's not to close the deal. It's not to make a certain amount of money, but I know if I focus on activities, I'm going to get the results. So next year, I already know what I have to do to make 500K. 500K is in my mind, but that's not really my goal. It's not really what I'm focused on. Because if you focus on the activity you have to do and who you have to become, like I'm going to have to change to make 500K. You're going to have to change to make however much money you're going to make. Personal development is so important. You need to work out and be disciplined and be really hard on yourself. When you're having a hard day, you can relax, whatever. But otherwise, like you need to be really hard on yourself, because if you're going to make a lot of money and do what other people haven't done, you're going to have to do things differently. You're going to have to be different kind of discipline. You're going to have to like go to bed at a different time. You're going to have to say no to things. Like I feel like a lot of people think I'm like a douche because I like say no to everything and I'm so set and everything. I'm like, man, everyone probably thinks I'm so mean. I'm like, if they ever ask me how to explain it, I'm like, it's not personal. I know I have to be committed and disciplined if I'm going to hit my goal, and then I'll talk about it later. But every single day, I just have to stick to that. So really quick before we keep going, do you guys have any questions about anything we talked about so far?
How much does it cost to hire a transaction coordinator?
Okay, good question. So on the buy side, it's normally like $350 transaction. On the list side, it's like $450. Do you know any TCs? Okay. So anyone here could probably connect you to someone like list close.
was your first, right, Stephanie?
Yeah, Stephanie Wilbur, she was my first one. Yeah, she's great.
It's, yeah, $3.95, but it,
Okay.
the amount of release of anxiety is just.
Yeah, that sounds
It was the best thing that I've ever done.
Mhm.
What are your top 3 sources of your business?
Yeah, good question. So I do a couple different things, because if you just do one thing, one-legged stool, it's not going to stand very well. So you need to have a couple sources of business. So for me, phone calling, obviously cold calling is most important. And I would say door knocking. It's crazy when you door knocking around listings, door knocking around your open houses. It's crazy when someone it's so effective. Door knocking is the most effective form of lead gen. It's just hard. So if you're door knocking around an open house, it's such an easy conversation. They're not normally mad. You circle prospect over the phone, they're probably going to cuss you out. It's totally normal. Happens all the time. But if you door knock, it's hard for people to be mean to you face to face. If you're like, I'm just inviting you to our open house, build that connection. And then later on, they might think, I thought about listing my house. So door knocking, calling. And what I'm getting into is referral partners. It's what a lot of people are into. If you want to make it a long game, sphere of influence, that's not my thing. I just don't work with people I know. And I think that's your meal ticket, your database, and they talk about it all the time. I think that is super, super important, having consistent business, because if I stopped working, I'd be done. So I have to build something.
Do you put everyone that you circle prospect or not in your database then?
If you get permission to, because no one likes to be spammed or emailed and all that stuff, you have to get permission for you to contact them. Because I hate when people like call me or put me on an email list I didn't agree to. So yeah, if you want to build that relationship long term, you definitely need to get permission.
So with your phone calls, you call FSBOs, right?
Mhm.
So I'm trying to, I have a buyer, but she's also trying to sell her house on her own.
Okay.
And I heard like a couple of your conversations, like of how you try to help them, like not to get their listing, but how can I help you?
Mhm.
So I want to present myself that I'd like to help her, like possibly host an open house.
Mhm.
That being said, if she is on Zillow FSBO, how does an open house get announced on the MLS? Or how am I able to do that? Is that a thing?
You don't announce it on MLS. They just announce it on Zillow, and then yeah, you could be like,
But it
hey,
would just be through Zillow, it wouldn't be through all the
because if the
others.
listing's not on MLS, it'll only be on Zillow.
Okay.
But the point, you could say, hey, I'm gonna do a free open house for you to bring you a buyer. And even if you don't bring a buyer, they're like, well, this person's working so much harder than everyone else to bring me a buyer. I'm gonna list with you. That's a thing. So one thing really quick, I want to go into, and I'll leave some time at the end to answer some other questions, but let's talk about relationships and mentorship and stuff like that. It's so important. So raise your hand if you guys have a mentor or a coach or anything. Okay. What is so important about having a mentor? Not just a coach, but like a mentor, someone you don't pay.
So Brad Bonart, we actually used to work together at HSN.
Oh,
He was my sponsor here. And so I kind of already had like a little built-in trust there.
Mhm.
But he's really good. He's very, very creative, and he's very good about sharing ideas and suggestions, whether it be, little drop-bys and things like that. He's just priceless. Like, so the contract that I will have,
Yeah.
really good friends of mine, but she's also a financial person.
Mhm.
So I just have in my mind, like, she's gonna want me to, concede on full commission and all of that. And he just walks me through that and makes time. Last night I had a marketing opportunity and he made time for me. So I just appreciate, it's like that little safety net.
Yeah. Someone asks questions too.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I love like cappers and training because that's super helpful. But it's nice to just have that one go-to, like if you're really embarrassed, I was like, I should know this and I don't at all.
Yeah.
It's nice to just have one person like,
to someone that you can ask like dumb questions to. I ask stupid questions all the time. I never ask any of you, but I have my people ask stupid questions to, because it's crazy. I do not know nearly as much as you might think. I just don't. So I'm asking like whatever about contracts and everything. So relationships. So something one of my coaches last year taught me, And I'll say this too about coaches. I hired a coach day one. Like as soon as I stopped working with that mentor, I paid a coach. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to pay you. I've never paid a coach before, so it could have turned out bad. Best thing I ever did. I was the only one I knew paying a coach, but everyone else told me, hire a coach. They're like, just hire a coach. That's what everyone does. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do whatever they did. So hire a coach, get a TC. So relationships are like bank accounts. And this like changed my life. So a lot of people think of a relationship with someone as like a bank account. So a lot of people write checks on that. They ask for things. A lot of people are askers. They're going to ask for something before they're going to give you something, right? And that doesn't make you feel really good. Like I know the people that invest in my life and the people that just ask me for things. I don't really want to spend my time with people that just ask for things. And we're selfish naturally, so that happens. So when you want to get influence or build a friendship or a mentor, you have a mentor, someone like Noah, if you want to get on his level, you're going to take him out to dinner. You're going to do something for him. You need to make deposits into those relationships first before you ever ask them for anything. So for me, with mentors and coaches, I'm always giving them gifts, and not to suck up. Gifts aren't my love language, but you need to provide value. So even if it's not money, you need to do something. So anytime I'm with someone, I'm like, what can I do for you? And it's crazy. No one says that. So whenever you want to if you need something from someone, before you ever ask that, you need to do something for them, help them somehow. So I was telling, what was your name again? Cam. So Cam, so last year, I had known this and I was doing it. So last year, from the I Love St. Pete group, the founder of it, Stan, I connected with him. I was like doing lead gen. So I was like, I'm going to meet people online through Facebook. So it's crazy you watch it. Did anyone else watch it? You probably have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, so Cam watch it. So the guy runs a page of like 70,000 people. I'm like, I'm going to provide value to him in one way I know how. I'm going to give him a platform. He kept blowing me off, whatever. I was like, hey, let me interview you. You can just talk about yourself. People love talking about themselves. So I was like, let me do it. And I was just in the background. He's talking about himself, whatever. And he thanked me. And we did like an hour-long interview. And I invested in that relationship first because I was like, I'm going to need to ask him for a lot of things because I want to be his agent for St. Pete. Didn't work out, whatever, it's fine. I didn't end up needing an agent, but I invested in that relationship first. Instead of like just being like, hey, I want to be your agent. I want you to refer business to me. I was like, I'm going to give you a platform to talk about yourself, feel good about yourself. So I really invested in him first. And so with anyone, you have to approach relationships like a bank account. Be like, when was the last time I did something for them? Or if you want to start a new relationship, there's nothing like someone valuing your time and paying for it. Like I just went on a trip to see some like friends in real estate that are a big deal, literally gave everyone a gift card. They probably thought it was insane, but I'm like, every time you think of me or I need something, I need to know that I can ask for it. So I'm always going to invest in you first before I ask anything. I'm not perfect, but think of that with friendships and relationships and partnerships. What can you do for them first? Because you're going to ask something at some point. Just don't do it right away. That bank account needs to be positive first. Does that make sense?
It does, and if I could tag on to it, one thing that's been really helpful for me is, we have our internal portal where you can add in venture partners. So I actually, a girl that I used to work with, she also left HSN, she opened up her own feng shui business. I thought that could be kind of cool for, people might be interested in that. Another friend of mine opened up a home organizational business. And, so I added their information in, and they were so thankful to have that exposure, because I'm like, hey, here's the number of agents we have and all of that. So it is that kind of giving piece. It doesn't cost you anything. You can talk about it, socially, and then they kind of talk about you. So it all happens organically, and it doesn't take a long time, to set it up. So
yeah, you can do weird things. I've gotten listings by eating at people's restaurants, like it's lead generation. I've gotten listings by bringing people their favorite kind of beer. Or if someone I know, their family member just died, I'm going to bring them dinner. And I've done that and never gotten anything from it. I'm like, that's fine. Because if I'm going to do it from like the right heart and not just to get something, I have to be okay not getting anything from it. But you always, if there's an opportunity for you to do something for someone, you meet that need first before you ever ask anything. That's so important. Even with my wife, I'm like, I always want to invest into her life. I don't need to ask her for anything, but I want to fill up their cups. Not so if I need anything, but if I ever do need something, I want to know that they're there for me, that I invested first. I didn't ask anything for them. So it's a big turnoff when people are like asking you for things all the time and they're not aware of it. We're selfish people. It's like, okay, but let's think about that. It's like a bank account. It's like, what can you do for them first? Mentors are so important to you. They want to see you successful. They want to make you successful. So you need to do something for them too. Just ask it. Even if there's nothing you can do, like, what can I do for you? Even if you're just asking that, they're going to appreciate that. So everyone that's at a high level, you need to become friends with them as fast as possible. Become friends with them. They're going to help you level up. Like I said, become the person you're going to need to be to make that much money. Like Noah, I'm sure like 5 years ago, he's making a different amount of money. You need to grow into the person he is today to make the money he's making today. And you guys are going to have to do the same thing. You're going to have to change. You're going to have to do hard things. Like me, I was super nervous about this, but I was like, I'm going to do it anyway. Like I told you guys, like I got to do hard things. Like getting that $1 million listing, same thing. So we have a little bit of time. So I'm going to spend like 2 more minutes talking about personal development, some little things I do, then I'll just answer questions. So I think the biggest thing, you're going to forget a lot about what I said, but I think a lot of the principles, hopefully about who you are and who you need to become, stick with you. Because I think the coolest thing is I know, like last year I made 100 grand, this year I make 275. And I'm just saying this for numbers. Next year, you're going to watch me make 500. Everything I'm saying is true. I'm doing it. I have street cred. You need to become the person that can do these things. So think about how much money you want to make and who you need to become to do that. Again, like what time do they need to wake up? What kind of physical shape do they need to be in? I'm insane about what I eat. If you eat pizza first thing in the morning, you're going to be tired all day. You have to have a lot of energy to do what you're going to do. You have to have a lot of energy for that. And you have to monitor what you're eating, how you're sleeping. Like I'm a freak about sleep and eating and managing myself really well. Cause I'm like, I have to have a lot of energy because the most important thing is like that I'm in good shape and my mindset's good. Your mental health, super, super important. You have to have like sellers and buyers know what vibe you're giving off. And if you're off, like they're just not going to want to work with you. You have to make sure you're in a good headspace. You're coming from contribution and that you really want to help them. So your personal development, like Tammy, like you asking for a higher commission, it's not about even getting the money. Like what was it gonna be, like $2,500?
Yeah,
So you would have gotten $2,500, so something like that if you asked for it. But the principle was you did something scary you didn't want to do, right?
it was awful.
Yeah.
But then it wasn't. Then you realize it wasn't
You asked for more commission, which is scary. But yeah, you got to take little steps because eventually you're going to be in $1 million listing. And you're going to remember that one time you asked for a commission, you didn't want to ask for it, it's scary, but you did it. So do things that freak you out. Like I'm going to go rock climbing because it freaks me out. I don't want to do it, but I'm like, I have to grow because there's so many scary things I'm going to have to do later on. Like I haven't been to a $5 million listing sometime. It's probably going to be really scary. And I'm like, I'm going to have to grow where it's not scary for me anymore. So that's how my mindset works.
Sure. You share your daily schedule?
Yeah, so this is probably the most important thing. Every single night, not perfect, but I do stick to it really, really well. Every single night, your day starts the night before, 100%. It doesn't start today, tomorrow starts tonight. So every night around like 9 o'clock, I get ready for bed. I go to bed super early. I think cool people go to bed early. I'm a night owl, so I hate it, but I think you need to be getting ready for bed in bed by like 9:30 if you want to get up early, because hustlers get up really early. Like you don't have to. I know a lot of successful people that don't get up early, but I would say get up early. So go to bed at like 9, get up at 5:30. I did the whole 4 a.m. thing for a long time, working 16-hour days. I was exhausted. You could see it on my face. I was like, so I made some changes. I'm not that crazy anymore. So I get up at like 5:30. I don't work out in the mornings anymore. I used to do that every morning, cold shower. I was like really hardcore about that. I get up, we just got a puppy. So I got to play with my puppy for like 30 minutes and hang out with my wife, and I shower, get ready. And I'm at the office by like 6:37. So one thing that's crazy, notice this, and it blows my mind, is if you want to make a lot of money, show up before everyone else. No one does that. Anywhere I go, I show up first. And I think that's so important. Like think of like Kobe Bryant and MJ and all these guys, like they're the first ones there and the last to leave. Like other principles that are outside of real estate matter. Show up early. Like tomorrow, why not show up at 7? Like what time do you guys wake up? Like average. It's okay if you sleep in. 7, 5. 5. It's okay if you sleep in. Like that's totally fine. You don't have to do that. 6. Okay. So tomorrow it's hard. I'm always tired, but I'm like, I have to get up early because that's what I'm committed to. Get up a little earlier. One thing you could do, because you want to take something from this that you can apply, get up a little earlier and show up earlier. If you're in the office, you're probably going to work. Show up before everybody else for a year and see what happens. Like, what do you think would happen if you just showed up to work at like 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock for a year? What would your business look like? Yeah. What time do you guys show up? Like average, like what do you try to consistently, what time do you try to consistently show up? 8:39. Okay. 8:30. So I'm not gonna hate on anybody at Seminole, whatever. Every office is like this, but no one shows up at like 8:39. It blows my mind. Not picking on you guys if you're watching, but like show up early. Like you don't have to, but I believe you do. I think you need to show up before 8. I think you need to get in the right mindset, go to bed early and sacrifice. And you really, like I said, you need to do the things that the person that's going to make $200,000 or $300,000 or $500,000 a year does. And most of them get up early. So I hate getting up early, but I do it. I lead generate 3 hours every day, sometimes 4, sometimes 5. If I don't have a lot of business, I'll lead generate six hours a day. I don't care. And one of the biggest things I think you guys can get from me is I'm a freak about lead generation. Your job is to find buyers and sellers, and that's it. That's it. Not getting coffee with each other, not doing classes. Everyone, there isn't a lack of knowledge. You know what to do. Everyone is a buyer or seller at some point. Anyone on the street, like I remember last year, Michael Thompson taught a class to us. He told me this, and I just started talking to people at Chick-fil-A. So I was like, I'm just going to talk to people. Just talk to people at Chick-fil-A. Everywhere you go, there are people, and people are leads. Lead generate. Just tell them about real estate. Lead generate. Be a freak about it. So I lead generate 3 to 4 hours every single day, sometimes 6. It really depends. 6 days a week, probably, something like that. So at least like 20 hours a week. So for you guys that lead generate, how many hours do you lead generate every single day? Not one day a week, but every single day. Because I do 3 or 4 hours or 5 hours every day. Doesn't matter. Like even today I lead generated. It was like messed up because I was doing the class, but I still did it. So how much do you guys lead generate? Consistently, be honest, it's okay.
2 to 3 hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
3 hours. We try to block off 9 to 12.
Okay.
We start at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, you're always here early. Yes, you're always here early.
Jack's on calls at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And then he comes to the office and then we pick it up again.
Yeah.
From 9 to 12.
I do about an hour.
An hour.
Not nearly enough, but I have noticed that when I'm wearing my badge, I get stopped so much, especially in Publix.
Mhm.
So that's actually been a pretty good little resource lately.
Yeah.
Just simply wearing my badge.
Yep. Yep. Anyone feel like, raise your hand if you feel like you should lead generate more. Yeah, all of us. Yeah. So anyone I've ever met that's a mega agent, they're freaks about lead generation. That's it. That's all I do. I don't do my own deals. I don't do anything. I don't do anything from Facebook. I don't get any business from that. Literally all I do is lead generate. That's it. So if you ever follow me around, you're like, wow, you're so boring. All you do is like lead generate. I'm like, that's my job. That's my job. That's it. I'll give you guys a couple more minutes after 12 because I think I'll still get back by 12:30. So let me shut my alarm off. I was gonna like escape at 12, but I'll give you guys a couple more minutes. So lead generate till about 11 or 12, take a quick lunch, do whatever I gotta do, a little bit of admin. I'm like bad about admin. I'm like really bad about calling clients back. I gotta get better at that because I'm so focused on lead generation, which is good. And then appointments all day, and I'm done by like 6 or so. And I'm gonna start shutting my phone off at like 6 because I'm just trying to be more disciplined. So that's my daily schedule. Weekends, I don't really work nights or weekends anymore. Not really. I'm probably gonna start lead generating on weekends again though, even Sunday nights, which I know sounds crazy. So any other questions you guys have for me?
What do you think is like the weakest part of your business that you're working
So it's funny, like I'm super, super hard on myself. So I think I'm lazy. And I gotta develop more. So I'm actually getting more hardcore with lead generation discipline. Probably gonna get another cell phone so people can't reach me at certain times. And I'm just like, I need to do farming and all that stuff, but I'm like, I'm still obsessed with becoming like the best version of myself. So I think it's just that never ending journey of trying to become my best self and then adding leverage and systems and all that. I'm going to get a buyer's agent next year. So I don't really work buyers. So I'd probably say myself, which sounds crazy.
What cell phone carrier do you use for your cold calls?
And cell phone coverage?
Yeah, I just had.
Like AT&T?
Do you use AT&T?
I'm on like a family plan like Cricket. So like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that and that's something a lot of people ask me all the time. Data doesn't matter, phone numbers don't matter. It's all the same. None of that matters. All that matters is you and that you're on the phones and you're consistent. That's it. So like none of that stuff matters. Certain headset doesn't matter. The business cards don't matter. All that matters is that you're working and you'll beat out other top agents. You just have to outwork them. It's literally it. The one trait you need to succeed is grit. That's it. Like I'm not the smartest person. I'm not the best at a lot of things, but I'm like, dude, if I outwork you, I'm gonna beat you. And that's it. So I answer 2 more questions and then I'll have to write out. It's 201. What's up?
I don't have a question, but what I do want to say is I like sitting next to him, what I learned a lot is your consistency. You are consistent. And when you say that you will call back in a couple of months, like you make the note in your computer and you do call them back and you do have your scripts. I listen to your scripts and you do follow them, but you put your genuine, like your personality into it. And so like when you're talking to people, you are like natural and it just makes you like, it makes the person on the other line feel like, oh, he remembers like they had surgery last month. So it's just being consistent and writing it down and knowing what to say next month when you call them.
Yeah, again, with relationships, always come from a place of contribution. Don't ever ask, if you don't know somebody, don't ever ask them for something. Like ask them don't ask them for something, ask them what you can do for them. Like anyone, like a lot of top agents in here too. Last year when I didn't know anything, I was just like trying to provide whatever value I could because I needed their help. So the first thing you should do when you leave this room is you should go, if you don't already, make friends with someone that's a top agent and see what you can do for them. And that's it. Okay, so I'm gonna answer one more question I gotta write out. I told a story, Denise. We've never met in person. You don't know that one listing. The first listing appointment I ever went on, you destroyed me. I was at a different brokerage when I first started. And the guy told me, he's like, just show up. I was like, what? And then I found out the guy's like, dude, she drives like a super nice car. She's like a top agent and I didn't get the listing. And then I joined St. Pete and I was like, oh, Denise is a boss. Like there's no chance I was gonna get that.
What house that was? I don't remember.
You sold it for like 250, maybe 255. I don't know. I don't even remember the guy's name.
Can't remember address.
Yeah, you sold like 1,000 since then. So. Yeah, but so I have one more question I gotta
Did
leave.
you finally meet you?
Yeah, nice to meet you. And I'll tell you this, like you have to be like Denise and these other agents say no. You have to say no to everything, stick to your schedule. Don't be apologetic for it. Like they'll understand. If people want to be your friend, they're gonna understand why they can't access you and why you have to take everything so seriously. So I answer like one more question I gotta write.
This might feel tough for you, but you've talked a lot about working on yourself and saying no and things that, kind of feel selfish to hear. Do you think you give your customers a good value, or do you think the work you do, the ways that you prioritize yourself, affect the work you do and the value you give your customer?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I'm insane about doing whatever it takes for my clients. Insane. So if it was my client's birthday the other day, didn't really want to do it, drove a cake out to her, like your clients, you have to, man, it's just like relationships. It's just like your wife. You have to take such good care of them or someone else will. So I'm insane about your schedule and your discipline is your freedom. So I'm super disciplined. My clients can't reach me at a certain time, but I do make time for them. Like you better believe, like everyone I texted today, I was like, hey, it's my wife's birthday. You're not gonna be able to reach me today. If you need me and it's an emergency, call me. Like my clients get treated so well and I wouldn't be where I am without them. It's just everyone else, make everyone else work around your life and don't be apologetic for it. I know it sounds selfish, but I mean, if you want to hit the goals you want to hit and make the money you want to make, like I have to make 500K a year so my mom can retire. It's like stuff like that's in my head. And that's why I stick to my schedule. That's like why I do the things I do. So you're right. It does sound selfish, but you have to know like the why behind it, why you're going to do those things. Otherwise you can't achieve what you want to achieve if you just give your time to everyone. So that's it. I got to go unless you want to say something or.
I'm sneaking in behind you.
Don't go anywhere. We have another mastermind.